Okay, so once again, good morning. Sorry for the encountered problem with my connections. So once again, the topic for today is about strategic thinking with SD Logic by Madam Feliciano.
So good morning everyone. This time I will show you a brief overview about strategic thinking with SD Logic. To start with, the main aims of the products are to benefit a customer's need. Strategic thinking is how you and your colleagues help create the path to success. It requires that you put the smallest decision in context of organization's broader long-term goals. Service dominance identifies a service as the central purpose of trade and offers a theoretical understanding of how businesses, consumers, and other market actors generate value by communicating with each other through their service interactions. A main consequence of SD logic is that the principle of co-creation of superior value replaces the more prevalent one of the provision of super value as a cornerstone of business strategy. The skills that promote and improve a value co-creation process are also strategic capabilities that are central to the competitive advantage of an enterprise from an SD logic perspective. The first principle is that business parties collaborate and work together with the capabilities of the other group offering services, thus making a distinction between products and services redundant. According to these premises, the products of a business are important and relevant tools to the extent that they can be used as inputs for the recovery of the customer's own value development, processes, and knowledge. The idea of co-creating value applies to helping customers to co-construct and participate in superior experiences. Each member of the value network brings their own unique access to resources and accommodation into the process. If customers are seen as an integral part of value development, the role of the organization becomes that of a value facilitator, supporter, and co-constructor rather than a value supplier. The company's strategic emphasis turns towards recognizing how it can better help individual consumers get more out of their direct business operations and or services channels to enhance their everyday lives, processes, and interactions in a meaningful way. Therefore, contact between the value network partners is dialogic, enriching the experience of learning together. All in all, rather than concentrating on goods, businesses emphasize a valuable engagement, interactions, and effects of mutual resource integration efforts, thereby providing the foundation for effective future strategies. To start thinking strategically, you start by pushing your past assumptions about the way things work, and you have to keep your eyes open for the opportunities to better serve your customers and use this insight to guide the way you make choices in support of your organization's overarching goals. Your decision make difference when you think strategically, and you're putting yourself and your organization on the smart part of success. That would be all. Thank you for your time. This is Eileen Feliciano reporting. So good morning everyone.
Okay, so based on the given presentation of Ms. Feliciano that, of course, the strategic analysis is the process of developing a strategy for a business by researching the business and the environment in which it operates. In this type of strategic thinking, no, a strategic analysis will be referred as to the SWOT analysis, no? The strength, the weaknesses, the opportunities, and threats. So with these 4 areas, you will define your organization position relative to the competition and operational environment. So while many believe it is best used, no, at the organizational level, when properly implemented, a SWOT analysis will be return targeted, productive result at division or departmentalized business, no? So we consider the internal, of course, for our weaknesses, of course. We have also an external for the opportunities and threats. No, internal for strengths and weaknesses, external for opportunities and threats. Okay, the strategic thinking, no, or that strategic thinkers are the right questions before they look for answers. So intuitive thinkers are see before they even know the right question. So strategic thinkers see what if, the type of question, before seeing potential solutions. So again, we need to consider the brand vision, no? The brand vision and others. Now, when it comes to the of course, we need to consider the critical thinking for the modern marketer. So we have 5 approaches, no, to develop your problem solving and decision making skills. So as marketers, we're confronted with different types of question, data, and challenges regularly. So whether it's reacting to a negative PR story, reviewing the performance of a digital marketing campaign, or weighing up different creative options, no? We need to make decisions that could impact our organizations in both the short and long term. That's why a while ago I mentioned that we need to consider we need to start with our SWOT analysis. No? Now, although marketers need to develop a strong set of technical skill, there is an equally important need for rounded set of software skills. Now, so wait lang. Again, as I mentioned, one of the most crucial skills needed for effective decision making is critical thinking. So at its core, critical thinking is about making clear reasoned judgment. Whilst this is itself sounds straightforward, like many things, it's easier said than done, as we're also susceptible to a wide range of personal assumptions and cognitive biases. No? When we read, hear, or see something, there's a risk well from a snap judgment based on what fits our existing worldview and act without questioning further. One of the keys to effective decision making is the ability to take a step back and objectively evaluate all the available options. So to do this, we need to have the capacity to think critically. Okay? Number one, of course, we need to recognize the importance of critical thinking. No? So to develop our critical thinking skills, we need to think of this as a mindset. By doing so, we bake critical thinking into our daily lives and not something exclusive to business or work. And some useful example of critical thinking includes a triad nurse. Nurse will analyze incoming cases to decide the order in which patient should be treated. A mechanic will evaluate the different parts best suited to a particular job. And of course, a marketing manager will need to analyze and evaluate web analytics and use this information to formulate an optimization plan. But what are the different steps and techniques we can use to refine our critical thinking skills? As I mentioned, we have five. No, we have five approaches. Number one, we need to consider the challenges, assumptions, no, and receive wisdom. Every company, group, or team will have their ways of working, no? Some of which will be made of assumptions and receive wisdom. Whilst now certain processes and ways of working will be based on empirical evidence. Some will include assumptions that have built up over time without ever being questioned. When we knew to one of our previous roles as digital marketing manager, for example, no, we discovered that the company was measuring its digital sales performance based on last click attribution. No? Although last click measurement has its merits for the company, it didn't accurately show where sales were being derived. So by asking tough but respectful questions, the business reviewed its measurement principles and started to use a combinations of methodologies, including incremental measurement. Okay? So another thing, ask the right questions. No? Building on from the previous approach, asking good, incisive question will enable marketers to more thoroughly interrogate existing processes and ways of working. However, critical thinking isn't about challenging everything. No? On the contrary, marketers with sound critical thinking capabilities will tend to take a questioning approach when the stakes are high. Now, another thing is get outside your bubble. Not NCR plus, not NCR bubble. The importance of cognitive diversity within teams, but the same is true for individuals. No? If you only ever read the same things, listen to the same podcast and converses, no, with like-minded people, there's disproportionately high chance that you will have narrower worldwide that will prevent from you questioning the status quo and spotting new opportunities. It can be uncomfortable confronting different opinions, no? Or ideas that go against your personal way of thinking. The political battle lines in other countries, for example in UK, no, and any other countries are the testament to that. But if we would ever operate in our personal bubbles, we'll lack crucial critical thinking skills. Now, if you still remember, or if you read already about the Simon Cooper in the Financial Times, no, he listed the 8 habits of people with beautiful minds. No? If we have, of course, number 1, they treat every situation as a learning opportunity. 8 habits of a people with beautiful minds. Number 2, they can clear their mind to see the other person. Number 3, they often suffer anguish, boredom in ordinary social life. Number 4, they are specialists, yet are always trying to master other fields. Number 5, they gather insights from many different realms. No? Number 6, they do work, no, they want to do, not the work the world seeks to impose on them, even if there's a cost to their career or income. Number 7, they have the imagination to come up with ideas, but also the humility and technique to test against data. And number 8, people with beautiful minds say what they think is true. that this will be the 8 habits of people with beautiful minds. Now, number 3, no, for the strategic critical thinking, no, is the reason through logic. Whenever you work, no, pay close attention to to the chain of logic that has been used to construct different arguments of why things are the way they are. Because critical thinkers should take a data-centric view and ask themselves, is the argument supported at every point by evidence? And do all the pieces of evidence build on each other to produce a sound conclusion? No, I don't know if you also heard the word post hoc thinking by Helen Lee. She explains that by being aware of common fallacies will enable us to think more logically. So for instance, people often engage in what's known post hoc thinking. In this fallacy, people believe that because event Y follow event X, event Y must have been caused by event X. So for instance, a marketing strategy, or even the marketing manager believe or may believe the sales of hot soup go up in the winter because of the cold weather. But until this assumption is tested, it's not possible to know if this belief is correct. No? Okay. Now, number 5 is engage in active discussion, which is too important. No? Even we read a lot of books, but it's too easy for us to adapt the ideas, some additional learning, or you will be able to learn if you are always engaged with active discussion. So, as alluded to in the third point, critical thinkers look beyond their own personal bubble. So, yun yung number 3 natin, di ba? But in addition to this, they are also looking for ways to improve their own knowledge and understanding of the word when speaking to people by engaging in active discussion. Okay? So instead of trying to win an encounter with clever jargon, titles, or name dropping, critical thinkers will look to absorb what anyone is saying, regardless of their status. So for example, a senior marketing director can learn as much from a Gen Z intern, specifically for trends, for the interest, and for the technology, as anyone operating at their own level. Right? So it is very important, once again, for us to be engaged in some active discussion, of course, related to our field as much as possible, related to our task. Now, it means to say that critical thinking is a crucial mindset to adapt as a marketer if you're looking to make a real difference within your organization. Because the ability to think outside of your own echo chamber, evaluate situations with genuine objectivity, and ask challenging but respectful questions will improve your problem-solving skills and enable you to make a good decisions. Okay, so I think that's it for the strategic thinking with ST Logic.